good evening, and welcome to Sports Tonight, the midweek edition. We do apologize for bringing you the show a little bit late, but all problems sorted now, and we can move on with the show and give you the best of sporting experience on your Sports Tonight. Well, a lot is going on as we speak. You already know that 2 matches have been concluded in the UEFA Champions League, and of course one of them involves our own Ahmed Musa. Well, we'll give you all the details about all of that later on the show, when we begin to take a look at what is going down in Europe, the consequence of some of the results, and probably the implication, and also as it affects some players that we'll know involved in the competition. But quickly, let me introduce my partners that do start off the show with me this lovely Wednesday. Sitting right next to me, our own Toyin Ibitoye, and also the Super Eagles media officer. It's always a pleasure having you around, Toyin Ibitoye.
Yemi, thank you very much for having me on the show this Wednesday, and good to be here. Of course, our eyes on the UEFA Champions League games currently going on,
Yep.
And of course also focused on what is happening at home.
Yeah, and of course, Onyemuchi Wachuku joins us, news editor of Sporting Life. I get it right these days, so I'm not going to mix it up. But it's a pleasure having you around this lovely Wednesday.
Thanks for having me, Yemi.
Okay, let me tell you that you can be a part of everything that we're doing on the show. You can send your comments, your thoughts to us on the show. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that on Twitter. On Facebook, this is how you can get your thoughts across to us. Channels iPhone Sports. You can tell us what you feel. You can even send us a mail, sportstonight@channelstv.com. You send us a mail, we'll read your thoughts out loud. And of course, on Twitter, it is at channels_sports. Okay, you can also get all our top stories on channelstv.com. You can also view all our news reports and top stories also, youtube.com/channelsweb. It also gets better. You can also visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile devices, talking about iPad, iPhone, and of course the BlackBerry. And of course, you can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. All right, guys, let's quickly talk about something that interests me. Of course, the biggest thing happening is the UEFA Champions League. But let's quickly leave that for a second and talk about something that's beginning to look like FIFA all over again. A few months ago, Sebastian emerged. He was vice president, became president, and of course, the scenario turning to be the FIFA scenario. He is coming with, okay, I'm going to clean up the sport. I'm going to do a lot of things. But now, his name has been mentioned in places where, I don't want to call him a purist, but of course, because nothing has been proven yet. But of course, a lot of us are disappointed that his name is coming up in something that looks like a scandal.
Well, Yemi, you said it all. He was the vice president when Lamine Diack, the Senegalese, was the president. So yes, there's no way you are going to, be absolved of blame when you are, almost like the number 2 man of, an international federation where a lot of alleged, doping scandals were covered up in Russia. But, the major one he's facing now is what I call a moral issue. He, like you said, he became the president at the World Championship in Beijing, and and it's rumored that he has, a very close ties with Nike, one of the strongest sponsors of athletics all over the world, and they are looking at it like a kind of conflict of interest. Yeah. Where will his interest lie if there is an issue?
And the fact that he probably influenced the decision to take the 2020 World Championships
to Oregon.
Yeah. To Eugene,
very close to Oregon, where the Nike headquarters is situated 100 miles from Eugene, and of course we are also hearing that he has to defend himself tomorrow during a news conference, that all these issues will come up. And another angle to it is that Eugene was given the hosting right without an open bidding.
Yes.
For the first time. They didn't allow...
He was accused of lobbying his predecessor.
Yes, Swedish City was, wanted to bid, but they were not allowed, and it was given automatically to Eugene in Oregon. So these are some of the issues he's going to likely face tomorrow in the press conference. How he's going to navigate his way out of it is what we don't know here.
Let me quickly bring Tony into it. The IF Council will meet tomorrow in Monaco, and it has been overshadowed with all of these issues. A lot of people are saying the meeting is likely going to be long. You also, this meeting usually precedes the IAAF Gala, where awards are given to people, but even that award has been cancelled because of the doping scandals and the corruption that has entered into it. But what will be the mood tomorrow? It looks like it has been colored right now.
Yeah, and it's a sad one because sports is what people refer to as the opium of the people.
Yeah.
And suddenly that has been tainted with all these stories around football and now athletics in the eye of the storm. And when the public outcry is the way it is right now, there is very little you can do because you're going to be swimming against public opinion, particularly if there are evidences or there are instances like the case of...
in this case, there's an email.
In this case,
there's an email
that directly involves Sebastian Cole. You're going to be swimming against public opinion. And once that public trust is lost, there is very little you can do. No matter how much you try to defend yourself, no matter how much you try to tell us that it is just coincidence, people are always going to read meanings into all of this. And I think that's a lesson, really, for everybody involved in sports, the football, athletics, and other federations across the world, that sometimes what you see, I mean, the more you look, the less you see. And those who are usually in the forefront of raising this banner or raise the crusade of being purist, being holier than the others, are usually the ones that have those skeletons in their cupboards that could come out. And once, when somebody comes out and he tries to present himself as a Mr. Clean, and people can hold on to something in your cupboard, I mean,
the person is tainted.
Even if the issue are not supposed to be real big media issues, people will always want to use that as a point of reference. That look, you are Mr. Clean, just as it's happening in the case of Platini. Now people are talking about Platini facing a live ban. You understand what I mean? Facing a live ban. I mean, a few months ago, this was the savior, in quotes, of the man that was going to come to clean the sport. Now he's facing a ban for life. You see, so these are the issues that are beginning to throw up a lot of things. And the days that are ahead of us are going to be interesting days, really, to see how these guys are going to navigate all of these negative stories, negative publicity and public opinion, and still be able to stay there to clean the sports in quotes, as they have promised to do.
All right, the few days ahead will be interesting, especially tomorrow when Sebastian Cole addresses that press conference, and probably, well, he has insisted that he has done nothing wrong, but of course he would answer those questions, and we would now decide, like Tony has said, in the court of public opinion, whether he's guilty in our minds or not. But we move on from that and talk about the under-23 team, and of course it's no longer news that the list has been revealed. Well, let's quickly go on a break. Let's go on a break to catch our breath. When we return, we will be talking about the Dream Team 6. Of course, they will be campaigning in Senegal. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about the players. Also, we'll be talking about the Copa Lagos. Of course, players being invited to camp. Nigeria bidding to reclaim the title that they lost last time out. Also, we'll be talking about the Super Eagles. Of course, our focus will be on the preparations of the Super Eagles for crucial events in 2016. We'll take a look at all of that when we return from this break. Join us again.